in the last class, we were talking about the definition of cloud computing and what actually is cloud computing and who are the different cloud service providers that are available in the market. So we have seen seven or eight different types of cloud service providers. Along with that, we have also seen the cloud models as well, right? One is the service-based model and the second one is deployment-based model. So in the service-based model, we have seen the three different types: IaaS, PaaS, and then SaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and packaged software as a service. Along with these three, you also have the on-premises ones. And then in the cloud deployment models, we have seen four different types of clouds. One is called as public cloud, and then the private cloud, and then the community cloud and hybrid cloud. So these are the four cloud models which we have seen, deployment models. So along with that, we have also talked about a few details about the certification role, certification courses, and then what kind of jobs will be there once you finish or once you are well aware with the AWS concepts. And then we have also talked about a brief overview about the topics, the services which are provided by AWS, right? So that's what we have discussed in the last class. Now in today's class, we'll be talking about 5 to 6 different topics, or 5 to 6 different topics will be covered. The first one is, so we are going to look into the concepts of how to create an AWS account. That's the first thing which we are going to see. And after creating the AWS account, we'll be talking about what is a free tier. Okay, what is a free tier, and we'll have a kind of discussion over the free tier concept. And after that, we'll be talking about the multi-factor authentication, followed by we'll be seeing how does actually the AWS console looks like. That means once you create the AWS account, so how can you log into your, or how can you sign into your AWS account, and what actually is console? Okay, that also we are going to see. Along with that, we'll be talking about what are the different points that need to be remembered once when you are using AWS, or once when you stopped using AWS. There are a few points which you need to remember, right? So those points. And along with these 5, if time permits, we'll be seeing a concept called availability zones and regions, which is basically the AWS global infrastructure. So if time permits, I'll go with that one. But if time doesn't permit, then we'll stop up to these 5 topics and then we'll close it. In the tomorrow's class, we'll talk about the remaining things. Right? So that's the agenda for today's class. So before I talk about, before I show you the video of how to create an AWS account, let me tell you few things before we talk about the creation of AWS account. So few things which I want to talk is, suppose let's say that if you want to use any cloud service, not just the AWS, let's say you want to use the AWS or the Microsoft Azure or the IBM cloud, okay, or the GCP, that is Google Cloud Platform, anything, any cloud service platform, whatever is the cloud service platform, the one thing which you need to remember is, one thing which you need to have is the account in that particular service, okay, account in that particular cloud computing platform. So you need to have an account. Now, once when you have an account, you have 2 stages. So few options will be there where you can use it for free, and few options will be there where you have to use it on a paid subscription basis. Now, to understand this, let us have a simple discussion about the Netflix app. Suppose if you take Netflix app, okay, sorry. So suppose if you take Netflix app, so you will log into the Netflix app. Okay, not Netflix, let us consider it as a Hotstar so that I can tell you much better. So suppose let's say that you want to have an account, or you want to log into the Hotstar account. Now, once when you want to have an account in Hotstar, what you will do is you will create an account in that. Okay, you'll create an Hotstar account. Now, once after creating the Hotstar account, what you can do is you have 3 ways. Okay, possibly you have 3 different ways of using the Hotstar account which you have created. The first one is, initially you will be able to see some free content will be there, okay, where you don't need to pay any amount for watching the free content. So this is basically the free content which is available, and this free content might be the limited version only. Okay, maybe you cannot see, suppose let's say there are some web series that are available. Maybe you don't see all the episodes of the web series. Let's say you have the 10 episodes in the web series. Maybe you will be able to see the first episode only. Okay, if you want to watch the web series, the other episodes, that is from 2 to 10 episodes, you need to pay some amount. That is basically the free content, which is basically a limited version. As soon as you log into the account, they will give it as a complimentary factor, right? Now, after this free content, okay, what you can do is you will have a paid subscription basis. Okay, you have to pay some amount to the Hotstar or to whatever it is. So you have to pay some amount, and the plans will be there. Suppose let's say you have the 6 months plans, you have the 3 months plan, 1 year plan. Let's say these are the three plans whichever are available. Now, if your usage is limited to 3 months, you will just buy the plan according to your need. Suppose you need a Hotstar account only for 3 months. Let's say you want to watch only IPL. Other than that, you don't need the usage of, or you don't have the any usage of the Hotstar account. Now you will pay. You will. So let's say that for 3 months it is costing you some 150 rupees, and for 6 months it is costing you some 300 rupees, and for 1 year it is costing you somewhere around, let's say, 600 rupees, or 600 or 500, whatever it is. So some amount it is costing you. Now based upon your requirement or based on your need, what you will do is you will buy that particular subscription basis. Suppose if you want only for 3 months, you will pay just for 3 months, and you will use the services that are coming with that package, the 3 months package. So for 6 months package, let's say you are getting some other than the IPL streaming, you will also get an access to few videos. I mean, few movies and few web series. And then if you take some 1 year subscription, you might get better options. So this is one possible way of watching the or accessing the videos or accessing the Hotstar account. Now, if you take Hotstar account, you will have some 2 to 3 different options that are available. One is just a basic account, which you can call, and the second one we can call it as a premium account. Okay, the first one is called as a basic account, and the second one you can call it as a premium account. Now, there will be a difference between the basic account and premium account. That's for sure. In basic account, you might not have an access to all the video contents or all the features that are available in Hotstar. Maybe the limited restrictions will be there. Limited access will be there. But if you buy premium account, okay, if you buy premium account, obviously you'll have an unlimited access. You can access any kind of TV programs, any kind of movies which are available in the Hotstar. So this I'll call it as a paid subscription basis 2. Okay, let us consider this as 1 and this as paid 2. So what is the difference between paid 1 and paid 2? Here I'm calling basic as a paid 1 and premium as a paid 2. Okay, so what is the difference between this paid 1 and paid 2? So in paid 1, you have the limited access. Although you are paying the certain amount to access the Hotstar account, you have the limited access. The access for watching the content is restricted. But if you buy premium account, you will have an unlimited access. You can watch any videos, okay, without any problem. So this is basically unlimited. Now, if you take the difference between the paid one and paid two, let's say the paid one is costing you some 500 rupees per year. The paid two, which is a premium one, it might be costing you some 1,000 rupees per year. Okay? Since the lower the amount, okay, the lower is the features that you are going to enjoy. The higher the subscription amount, the higher will be the features that you are going to enjoy. Now the same parameter applies for AWS also. The same parameter applies for AWS also. Now how does this apply? Suppose let's say that you have created an AWS account. Let's say you have created an AWS account. Now, in order to create an AWS account, you don't need to pay any amount except 2 rupees. Okay? Once when you are creating an AWS account, you'll have to enter your credit card or debit card details, and then during the process of creating an account in AWS, you have to pay 2 rupees. But again, you don't need to bother about this 2 rupees because this will be again credited to your bank account. Okay, after 24 hours or within 24 hours, it will again give back the 2 rupees which is getting deducted from your account. Anyways, that I'll talk in the later case. Now, what I mean to say here is basically whatever the services that are offered by AWS, you can take the services at a free basis. That's one way. And you have another two ways where you can call it as premium 1 and premium 2. Let's say the second one I'm calling it as premium 1 and first one I'm calling it as premium 1 and premium 2. These are the three options. So now when you are using free access or when you are having a free access or free account in AWS, obviously it is very limited. Okay, you don't have the access to all the services which you are going to use in AWS. So you'll have the limited access. Now, when I say limited access, that doesn't mean, now we know that in AWS, we have almost 250 plus services that are available. Even with free account also, you can access all these 250 plus services. You don't have any problem with accessing the data. But the thing is, once when you start using different services, some services will be available for free and some services will be available at paid basis. So that time you have to pay the amount. Let's say that, let's take the three services that are available. Let's say I'm going to use the service called, sorry. So let's say I'm going to use the service called S3. Okay, this is one service which is available. S3 is one service. And then in the next case, I am going to use another service which is called as EC2. The first one is called as S3 and the second one is called as EC2. And the third one, let's say I am going to use a service called VPC, which is virtual private cloud. Don't bother about the shortcuts which I am talking about. We'll be going through, but let us understand. I am going to take three services. The first service is called as S3 and the second service is called as EC2 and the third service is called as VPC. Now, you can access all the three services with free tier account, with free account only. But for each individual services, there are some limits. Okay, since you are using free tier account, limits will be there. You cannot use, let's say if you are using S3, you cannot use more than 30 GB of capacity. Let's say when you are using EC2, you cannot create more than 10 servers. Let's say when you are using VPC, you cannot use much content of VPC. Now at that time, let's say you don't want just 10 GB of storage capacity, you want something like 1 TB storage capacity. Now, since you are using additional storage capacity beyond the free tier, so this 10 GB is basically the data that you can store with free account. Now, in the free account itself, if you want to have an access with 1 TB storage capacity, you can store. There is no problem. But you have to pay for the content whatever you are using. That's what we were talking about, pay as you go. Okay, so pay as you go is nothing but you pay for the services whatever you are using. Okay, whatever you are using. Though you are creating a free tier account, you have an access to all the content that is available in AWS. But once when you cross the limit of usage, you will be paid. I mean, you have to pay. I'll show you how that paid amount is coming, how to pay that amount. All these things I'll show you in this session only, but remember that. So that's basically the free tier discussion. Free tier in the sense you will create an AWS account by paying just the 2 rupees. After creating an AWS account for paying 2 rupees, you have the access to all the services. You don't need to bother about whether the services are accessible or not. You will have an access to all the services. Now, if you are using beyond the limits or if you are using beyond the capacity, you have to pay for whatever the extra content that you are using. That is called as a free tier. And that's the discussion which is related to free tier. Now, once when you create AWS account, let's say that today you are going to create an AWS account. From the day of creating the AWS account till 12 months. Okay, from the day of creating the AWS account till 12 months, that is 1 year. You can use the services for free of cost. Okay, so whatever the AWS account that you are going to create, that will be valid for 1 year of duration. So beyond 1 year, again, it will send you some mails. Your free tier account is getting over. So if you want, you can have a subscription basis. Okay. Now let's say that you have used the 12 months and after 12 months also, let's say you want the free account only. You don't want to pay. Now at that time, again, you have to create a new account. With the same account, you cannot work. If you start working with the same account after 12 months, you have to pay for that. Right? So that's the free tier discussion. Now, once when you create an AWS account, it will come to you for 12 months or 1 year of duration. After 1 year of duration, again, you have to create a new account. So you should not use the same old account which has exceeded its lifetime. So the lifetime of any AWS account is 1 year. That you remember. Now, I was telling that Now let's look at what are the prerequisites to create an AWS account. So what are the things that are required before you actually start creating an AWS account? Let's call it as prerequisites. What actually you need. So basically here you need only one thing, which is credit card or debit card. You don't need anything else. Address and all it is required, but I hope you remember all those things. But credit card and debit card details are mandatory. If you don't have a credit card or debit card, it is impossible to create an AWS account. You must have the credit or debit card. Any one thing is required. And make sure you have the minimum balance as 2 rupees. Okay. So if you are using debit card, make sure you are having at least 2 rupees in there. Okay. So this is the prerequisites in order to create an AWS account. So here, first thing is you need to open Google. That's a basic thing. And then you have to type this one, aws.amazon.com. So this is the first thing which you have to type. So as soon as you type that, you just click and enter, and then it will direct you to the Amazon Web Services account. That is aws.amazon.com. And here you can see an option called Create Free Account. Let us click that and see what actually comes. So you will be directed to an AWS Amazon console where you are going to create a free account. So here you can see there is an option called create a free account. Now let's say you already have an account. Then what you have to do is you just have to go here on the top right side. You can see sign in to the console. If you click sign in to the console, it will ask you for the credentials, that is email ID and password. With the email ID and password which you have generated, you can log into the AWS console. Now let us see here the first option, which is how to create an AWS account. So technically this is a free account. That is what I mean to say. So let's click here, that is create a free account, and then it will direct you to this particular console, right? Where here it will ask you to provide the root user email address and then the AWS account name. Okay, account name can be of anything. It can be with your name or it can be with any other names. That doesn't matter. But email ID is the most important factor. Now let's say I'm going to create an AWS account with this particular email ID. Let's say I'm going to create with this one, and I'm going to give the name as my name. Let's say Castro underscore civil. Let's say this is my account name. So whenever you open your account, this is the name which is visible. Okay, and make sure the email ID is properly provided or not. And then click verify email address. Once you click verify email address, your email will receive a password, a code where you have to enter. Let's see that. So I'm clicking verify email address, and there is a verification code which is sent to the email which you have registered. Okay, so let me go to this one and then let me check whether the code has obtained or not. Now, yeah, you can see AWS email verification. Now you can see the code is there, that is this one. So you can copy that code and paste it here and then click verify. Okay, if you haven't received any code, just click on resend code, you will get that. Now here you have to create a password. Okay, I'll talk about what is this root user. We have two types of users. One is IAM user and the second one is root user. I'll talk about that in the next class or the coming classes. But let us create a password. But in order to create a password, remember that you need to have an uppercase letters and also a lowercase letters, which are a combination with numbers and non-alphanumeric characters. So non-alphanumeric characters are something like exclamatory mark, hashtag, or the at the rate condition, or asterisk and or ampersand, anything with that non-alphanumeric characters. Let's say I'm going to create a password satisfying all the requirements. So once you satisfy all the requirements, you can see all the 4 options are turned into a green color mark. That means you have satisfied all these conditions while you are creating a password. Now you have to confirm the root user password once again. So enter the same password once again here and then click continue. So you can see there are 5 steps that are available. So this is just the first step. So let us say click here and then it will direct you to the second step. So here you can see. So the free types Okay, you can see free tier offers. What is actually free tier offers is all AWS account can explore 3 different types of free offers depending on the product used. This is the most important, depending upon the product used. So based on the product you are going to use, they will be available for free. Okay, if you are going beyond the free time, then you have to pay. And remember that this is always free, and remember that it never expires. And once on the date of creation of AWS account, okay, so it will be available for 1 year of duration. So you will get 12 months of free access. After 12 months, again, you can create a new account with new email ID. Okay, so the start date will start from the initial sign up date. Whenever the first sign up you are doing, that from that day onwards, 12 months the count gets started. And there are certain amount of free trials start from service activation date, right? That we'll see in the later case. Now here you can see the contact information. Here in the contact information, you have 2 options. How do you plan to use AWS? In what way you are going to use AWS? Is it for a business account or is it for a personal category? Let's say we are all using the AWS account for a personal work only. So let us click personal here. And then let us type the full name. Let me type my name itself. Doesn't matter which name you are typing. And then you have to enter your the mobile number. Let's select here India, that comes with 91. And then I'm going to type my mobile number. And here in the place of country or region, you can select India. Okay, you can see here. You don't need to select British Indian Ocean Territory. You just select India. And then you give some address. Let's say I'm going to give it as LB Nagar. And then here I'm going to give the city as Hyderabad. The state comes as Telangana. And the postal code is 50074, something like that. Okay. So here, once after filling up all the details, make sure you're going to check this one. So I have read and agreed to the terms and conditions of the AWS customer agreement. If you want to read all the terms and conditions, you can just click on that and you can read if you have time. So just click here, check this option and then click continue. So that moves you to the second step. Okay. The entered address is, yeah, I guess I have entered some, yeah, 5000. Okay. So you can continue here so that, yeah. So now this is the third step. So here what happens is you need to enter the credit card or debit card details. Okay. So make sure that you need to have the credit card or debit card. But as I said earlier, you are going to have the reduction of 2 rupees. So here what you have to do is you have to enter the credit card or debit card details. Okay, the credit card number, you can type your own credit card number, and here the expiration date also you can type expiration date and year, and then the card holder name and its CVV. Right. So once after you are going to type all these parameters, what you can do is you can click here, that billing address. So you can use the address which you have provided in the second step, or if you want to have a new address, you can click here and then you're going to type the new address here. Okay, let us select this only, use my contact address, and then do you have a PAN? That is PAN card. So let us say you don't have a PAN card number. Doesn't matter whether you provide yes or no, that doesn't make a big deal. But let us say only click, no. Let us check no. And then click on verify and continue. Okay, click on verify and continue, then it will move to the fourth step. Yeah, fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click verify and continue. So that moves to the next step. So I'm just clicking on verify and continue so that it takes you to the next step, which is step 4. So let us wait till it makes to the next step. Yeah. So here you see you will get a password, okay, to the registered mobile number so that you can enter that password or the OTP. So I have just entered the OTP here, and then I'm going to click submit. Let us click that, and then 2 rupees will get deducted. That will what the message comes, confirming payment with your bank, and then will direct you to the next step. Yeah. So here you can see, right? So you are almost ready with your AWS account. You are just one step away to create AWS account. So how should we send you the verification code? So is it by text message or the voice call? You can click the text message option. And here you can select the country, which is India. And then here you can give your personal number. Maybe you can give the mobile number which is attached to your bank account, or your personal number is also fine. It just sends one OTP, that's it. So here you can enter this security check option, which is, so just click send SMS so that you will receive the SMS there with OTP, where you have to enter the OTP. Yeah. So here you can see that there will be one code which will be sent to your mobile number or the number which you have given there. So just click the verification code and click continue. Yeah. So this is the last step where you're going to select the plan which you are going to use. So technically you have three plans, as I said earlier. So you have the basic support, which is available for free. You don't have to pay any amount. And the second option is developer support, where you have to pay $29 per month. And then you have the third option, which is business support, where you're going to pay $100 per month. Okay. So since we are not bothered about the developer support or the business support, we are going to check the basic support, which is for free of cost. And here you can read a couple of instructions also. Okay. So let me check this one, basic support free, and then complete sign up. Click on complete sign up. So that's how the final message appears. So congratulations. Thank you for signing up for AWS. So they say that it will take a couple of minutes to activate the account, but you will receive an email when this is completed. Okay, so you can just click on go to the AWS management console so that you can check whether the account is properly there or not. Right. So now you have created the account. So now what is the next step? You need to log into the account. Next step is you need to log into your account. Now let us say that we don't have this one. Let us go to Google and then let us log in from the beginning. So here also I'm going to the same process, which is aws.amazon.com, and then I'm going to choose the create free tier account, or you can also say it will come there. You can see the login option. So let us click that, and then here you can see the sign in to console. So on the top right side you can see sign in to the console. Just click on that. Your email address, right? Here I said you have two different types of users. One is the root user and the second one is IAM user. So IAM user is completely different from root user. IAM user will not have all the permissions as the root user is having. Okay. So I'll talk about IAM user when we are talking about IAM topic, but let us, whenever you are going to sign in, always check the root user only. Okay. Don't go for IAM user. Let us check root user, and then you have to enter the email address which you have logged in. Okay, here I am going to enter this particular email address from which I have logged in. I mean, I have created an account, and then you need to enter the password. Okay. So just click sign in. So it will take you to the AWS management console. So this is the console which is available for you. So this portion of the AWS account which you are seeing is called as console. So that is what you can see here, console home, or graphic user interface, we'll call it in general terms, but in AWS technology we call it as console. Now let us talk about what is available in this console first, and then let us move to the next categories. Okay, so that's all up to the creation of AWS account. Now what we'll be talking is, we'll be talking about the details that are available in the console. So basically whatever the screen that you see after logging into the AWS account, that is called as a console. Okay. So in general terms, what we call it as a user interface or graphic user interface. But in terms of AWS terminology, we call this as a console. Okay. Console is a technical name, you can say. So whatever the screen that you see as soon as you log into the AWS account, that is called as a console. Now here in the console, let us talk about few options that are available. Now here in the top right side, okay, top left side, okay, you can see the console home. So if you click on this AWS logo, it will direct you to the console home. Okay, the same console home which we are seeing earlier, that's the same thing which you are going to see. Okay, now here you can see services. Okay, the next option you can see the services. I'll talk about this one in some time. And then you can search for any services or features or blogs on docs or any kind of data in this by using this search box. So you just type whatever service that you want. It will show you that slide. I'll talk about this one also in some time. And then this one is called as, I mean, the logo which you're seeing here, this logo is called as a cloud shell. So that we are not going to bother about. And then this one is the notifications tab. Okay, if you click here, if you have any notifications with your AWS account, it will show you this notifications. Okay, so the open issues are 0, scheduled changes 0, other notifications 0. So if you have any notifications here you will be able to see in the blue color. Okay, no, 1, 2, 3, something like that. Numbers will be available. So now you can open that notification and then you can check whatever the notifications that are there. It's just for your reference, that's it. And then if you want any help, okay, or if you want any support, you can click on this one, the question mark one. Okay, now you can suppose, let's say I'm just clicking here. So you can write mails to support center, or you can ask for expert help, and then you can repost also. If you want any documentation, you can look for the documentation. And if you want any free training also, free training is available, but it's not a complete paste, it's a very limited ones. And then getting started, you resources center. If you want to send a feedback, you can send the feedback. These are the things that are available with the support. Okay, this one, the question mark. And then the next comes is this one. Okay, the one which you are seeing here, that is called as, just a minute. So this one, just give me a second. So this one, okay, this one is called as region. Okay, this one is called as region. I'll just mention it as R for time being. Now, what is this region? What exactly is region? What is availability zone? That I'll talk in some time. But as of now, just remember that this is called as a region. Okay, in which region you are accessing the AWS account? From which region you are accessing the AWS account? That is called as a region. Now here you can see N dot Virginia. That means North Virginia. Now, if you click this drop down option, you can see the multiple regions that are available in AWS. So on a whole, you will be having some 25 to 28 regions across the globe. So that means if you want to work in AWS console, you can select only one of these regions, not all the regions. I mean, you can select any region, but if you want to work, make sure you are working in the same region. Okay, you should not change the region. Now what happens if you change the region is, from region to region, the services will get limitations. Okay, suppose in Indian region, we don't call it as Indian region, we call it as Asia Pacific. I'll tell you that in some time. So from region to region, the services gets limited. Okay, so in one region, you might get huge number of services. In some regions, you don't get the huge number of services. So make sure of that. So when you are working in AWS or when you are working with AWS, make sure of selecting the region at the beginning itself. Okay. Now here, if you see in US, right? In US, you have 4 regions. So US East in North Virginia, US East Ohio region, and then US West North California, and US West Oregon. So again, for each region, there are codes also. Okay, these are called as region codes or regional codes. US-East-1, US-East-2, US-West-1, US-West-2. What is this 1 and 2? That means the number of availability, the number of regions in that particular west side of US. So along west side of US, you have 2 regions. One is in North California and the second one is in Oregon. So that's what this code is. Now in Africa, you have only one region, which is in Cape Town. That's why AF, which represents Africa hyphen South. South represents, what is the South, East, West and all? When you take the world map, so if you take the world map, Africa is in which direction? Is it in south side or is it in west side or east side? That's what south represents. Okay. Since Africa is in south direction or it is oriented towards south, it is called as AF-South-1. And then in Asia Pacific, okay, in Asia Pacific, you can almost see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 regions are available. So one is in Hong Kong, the second one is in Jakarta, next Mumbai, which is basically the Indian region, and then Osaka, Seoul, Singapore, Sydney, and Tokyo. Okay, so these are the 8 or 9 regions that are available in East or Asia Pacific. Okay, with respect to Asian continent, these are the regions. Okay, so now which one you are going to, before that one, let me show you the Canada region also. So in Canada, you have one region which is called as CA-Central-1. And in Europe, you again have 6 regions. One is in Frankfurt, which is basically in Germany. Next one is Ireland, London, Milan, Paris, and Stockholm. So these are the 6 regions that are available in European nations. And then in the Middle East, so one region is available in Bahrain and the second region is available in UAE. And these are the respective codes of those regions. And in South America, you have in Sao Paulo, which is this as the regional code. Now, since we are all working from India, okay, since we are all working in India or working from India, so you have to select Asia Pacific Mumbai. Make sure of this one. So whenever you are working with Asia Pacific Mumbai, I mean, when you are working with AWS console, make sure you are going to select the Asia Pacific. Now, if you click this one, now the North Virginia will get changed to Mumbai. You can see earlier it was N. Virginia. Now it is in Mumbai. Now, what happens when you choose the other regions? That I'll let you know after some time. So if you ask me, will there be any problem? Yes, there will be problem. But in what way? I'll let you know in some time. Okay. So this is how you can select the regions. Okay. Some services will be available as a global regions and some services will be available as a limited regions. I'll talk about that in some time. Now, that is with respect to the regions. Now here you can see our account. Okay, the AWS account which I have created with the name Castro_Civilid. Now if you click this drop down menu, you will see the account ID. Okay, this is the account ID. This is a unique ID. Nobody will have this ID except you. Okay, this is called as an account ID. So usually account ID is in the form of a 12-digit number. Okay, if you want to copy this account ID, you can just click here. Now the account ID will get copied. Okay, if you just click here, and just see, I'm just clicking here and I'm just opening in the new tab. I'll just paste it. Okay, so if you just paste it, you will be getting the number. That's it. It's just for your reference. But when we'll use this account ID, that I'll let you know. When we are talking about the IAM, Identity and Access Management Service, then we'll be using this account ID. But as of now, it's not required. Right? And then if you want to know the account details, you will get there, and then organization details, service quotas, billing dashboard, security credentials, and then settings. These are the few options. Now, I was telling that some services are paid services and some services are unpaid services. So beyond a particular limit, you have to pay the amount. That's what I said. Now, how will you get to know whether the amount is getting charged for you or not? Okay, you need to know, because you cannot just keep on using the AWS and then you cannot terminate it after 12 months. So when the amount is getting generated, suppose if you want to know how much amount is coming to my AWS account, on what basis it is coming. So in order to know that all details with respect to the amount, you can click on billing dashboard. Okay, just click on this billing dashboard and it will show you the amount that is available or amount that has come to your AWS account. So suppose if you are using any services, for some services, the amount will be charged. So what are those services and how it got charged? So this is basically the billing dashboard. Okay, this is basically the billing dashboard. So as of now, what I'll show you is I'll show you where actually you can find the bills. Okay, where actually you can find the bills. So for that, what you can see is you can see an option called billing preferences. Okay, you can see an option called billing preferences. Now click this billing preferences. Okay. Now how you want to get the billing details? Now let's say that you don't have you don't want to see the billing details in the AWS account. You want to get it by email, get it through email. Now if you check this one, receive PDF invoice by email. Let's just click this one and then you enter the email address here. So whatever the email address that you are entering, at the end of 30 days, okay, after every 1 month, you will get the billing details to your email account. You'll get the billing details to your email account. That's what billing or billing preferences. Okay, that's how you can check the billing details. Or if you don't want to check through email or you want directly to see in the AWS console itself, means you just click bills here. Okay, so now here you can see in the left pane, in this option, you can see details. Okay, so in details, again, it will have Amazon Internet Services Private Limited. You can see the billing details. So as of now, I don't have any amount which I have to pay. So it is showing in terms of dollars. So for each one. So if you take CloudWatch, again in CloudWatch, let's say in CloudWatch, you got some $1 as bill. Now, in which service exactly you got that $1 bill? So if you want to know specifically in CloudWatch, which service has got paid subscription, you can click this one and then you can see in Asia Pacific and then you can see here. Okay. Likewise, you can select if you want to see the billing details individually, you can select here. So just click on data transfer. Again, in data transfer, if you are working in any region, you select that region and then you can see. So these are as of now, you don't see any details because I did not use any paid services. So that's the reason why you are able to see in terms of $0. So this is how you can check the billing details. Okay. And then the estimated total you will be getting here in terms of rupees and also in terms of dollars, the final amount which you have to pay. So this is how you can check the billing details of your AWS account. Now, if you want to see, suppose let's say that you have used for 5 months. From today, you have used for the next 5 months. Let's say in January, you are checking your bills. Okay, you want to check your bills. Now here, if you want to see the bills individual month, okay, every individual month, how much bill has got generated, then you can select this option. You can see an option called date, right? So here you can select the months whichever you are working out. Since I have created this account in August month only, so it is showing only 1 month previous. So based on that, you will be able to see the details. Okay, once after September months get completed, again I can see September month details. Suppose let me show you the August month details. So I'll just click August here, and then you can see there are no bills actually that got generated. So these are the bills that are available for August month. Now, if you want to print it, you can click here by printing option, or if you want to download in terms of Excel sheet, you can also download by clicking here, download CSV. CSV is basically one type of Excel format, CSV format. You can download in any way, or you can see, this is how you can actually see the billing details. Remaining things we'll be talking over a period of time, the purchase orders, all these things we'll be talking one by one once when we are discussing the AWS services. Now, this is all about how to check the billing details of your AWS account, right? Make sure that at least once in a week, you're going to check this one. Okay, make sure of this. Once in a week, it is mandatory to check. Why it is mandatory? Again, you need to be aware that how much amount is coming into picture. Like if you are, if the billing amount is getting increased, obviously you have to pay. Okay, at that time, again, you cannot say that I don't pay, something like that. Okay, you have to pay. And yes, there are options where you can avoid paying the amount also. Suppose let's say that if you got some by mistake, okay, EC2 is one of the services where huge amounts of billings will come if you forget to stop the instance. Now, there is a service called EC2, and in EC2, what we'll do is we'll launch some servers. Now, beyond a limit of launching the servers, you have to pay. Okay. Now let's say that you have used for the demo purpose and you have created one EC2 instance and you forgot to stop that instance or you forgot to terminate that instance. Now what happens is, let's say that for 1 month you forgot, completely you forgot stopping that instance or terminating that instance. Now by the end of 1 month, what happens is let's say you got some $15 bill. Let's say you got some $15 bill. Now this $15, it has not come just like that. You are running that service over a period of 1 month, and for this 1 month period, $15 is coming into picture. Now you have to pay. Now at this time, if you don't want to pay, what you can do is you can write an email to the support center of AWS saying that by mistake I was using the EC2 servers and I haven't stopped or terminated the EC2 servers, and because of this bill get generated. Kindly check the billing details. Kindly ensure that there is no billing details in my account. Now AWS will respond to that. AWS will ensure that until or unless if your reason is a genuine reason, AWS will consider your reason and then it will work with your case. Okay, there are many instances where you can avoid paying the bills. But instead of going into that long time or that long stretch, at least once in a week, I suggest you to see these billing details. Now, where you have to see these billing details, click on the name or the username and then go to billing dashboard. Just click on bills. You will get the details according to month wise. Okay, so that's how you can look into the bills. Now, let us see what are the different services that are available in AWS. Now, when I was talking about in the last class, I was telling that I'll be talking about some 10 services. Okay. The first service, the first service is called as EC2, and then S3, and then IAM, and then VPC, and then Route 53. Right. Likewise, I told some services. Now, how to see all these services? Okay. How to access all these services? Now, basically in AWS, you can see services. I mean, the entire services are divided into multiple categories. Okay, all the services, all the 250 plus services or 200 plus services that are available in AWS, they are all divided based on the categories. Okay, remember this one. Based on categories, they are all divided into number of portions. Now, how to look into those categories? Now, if you click the services option here, so you can see the top left side next to the AWS logo, services. There is an option called services. Just click on this and then you can see whatever the recently visited services. Since I was working with all these services in the recent days, I could see all the recently visited services. Now, if you don't want, I mean, since you are creating an AWS account at the very first time, you might not see this option. Okay, these things you will not be able to see. At least once you have to use the services, then only you'll be able to see the recently visited. Now, if you want to see all the services, you just click all services. All right. If you want to see all the services, you just click all services or the entire service. I was telling that all the services have got divided into number of categories. So analytics is the first category, application integration, AR and VR, and then AWS cost management, blockchain, business applications, compute, containers, customer enablement, and then database developer tools. All these are the different categories that are available in AWS. Remember, these are not the services, these are the categories. Now let's say that I want to know what are the services that are available under analytics. Now just click on that. So these are the different services that are available under analytics. So Antenna, Cloud Search, AWS Data Exchange, Data Pipeline, EMR, all these things that are available are analytics. So basically this is used for data analytics. Those who are good, those who are working with machine learning, analytics or data scientist things, they can have an usage of these services. And then let's say if you want to have with respect to the application integration, then these are the different services that are available under application integration. Okay. So, and then likewise, you can check all the things. Now let's go to compute here. Now in compute, we'll be working with this one, EC2. I was selling this one, right? EC2, EC2 image builder, elastic beanstalk, light sail, all these things we'll be seeing. So now again, if you click this particular service, it will go to that EC2 console. Okay? I'll show you that in some time. And then let us come to storage here, the last one. So again, in storage, I was telling S3, right? So S3 Glacier, EFS, that is Elastic File System. All these things we'll be talking about. And then in security, identity and compliance, I was talking about one service which is called as IAM. Now, when you are logging into AWS account, there are two ways of logging into AWS account. One is the root user and the second one is IAM user. I told that in the video also. I told that I'll let you know more details when we are talking about a service called IAM. That service you can see here. Yeah, you can see here. So IAM, Identity and Access Management. So that's about the different services that are available under different categories. Now you don't want to see the services with respect to the categories. You want to see all the services at a single stretch. Now at that time you just click all services. Now you can see all the services starting in the way of arranging in terms of A to Z. You can see all the services. So these are the services which are arranged alphabetically. Okay, the different services. Or if you don't want to click this one, or if you don't want to go to that particular case and then go to this one, you can directly use the search box to go to that particular service. Okay, now let's say I want to use a service called S3. That's the service which we are going to start from tomorrow. Okay, S3 is the first service. Now just type S3 here. Okay, you'll get that S3 service. Now if I open this one, then it will direct you to the S3 console. You can see on the top of tab also S3 management console. So you can see all the things that are available in S3. However, this we are not going to talk as of now. We'll be talking in tomorrow's class only. But this is all about how to work with AWS account. Okay, AWS management, AWS console, you can say. So that's all for today's class. In the next class, we'll be talking about the other topic. We'll start S3 in the tomorrow's class. Along with S3, we'll also talk about the AWS global architecture. Okay. So before we close the session, I would like to show you one more thing, which is called as multi-factor authentication. I was mentioning this one, which is called as MFA, multi-factor authentication. Now, what is this multi-factor authentication? Multi-factor authentication is nothing but, suppose let's say you have a Gmail ID. You have a Gmail ID. Now, for this Gmail ID, you must have a recovery mail. Okay, some alternate mail will be there, which is called as a recovery email or recovery mobile number. Right? All your Gmail accounts will be linked with mobile number, if I'm not wrong. Right? So now what is the advantage of linking your Gmail to the recovery mail? I mean, to an alternate email or to the mobile number. What is the advantage? Suppose let's say that I know the password of your Gmail account. Let's say that there is an email account called Castro Kiran 9797 @gmail.com. This is my personal email ID. Now let's say that the password of this one is XYZABC. This is the password of my email account. Now, for some reason, okay, for some reason, some person, let's say person one knows my email ID, that is castrokiran97 @gmail.com, and my my password also. He knows both the things. Now, there is a chance that this person one can access my email, right? Can access my email. Now, in this case, what happens? Let's say in your email, there are some personal mails. Okay, maybe you must have received some personal mails from from your professors or from your company or from your client. There are some personal mails, right? Now, person one can have an access to all your emails. Now, even though the person one knows the email ID and password of my account, if I keep the mobile number as a linkage to my email account, now what it will ask is, once if you enter the email ID and password, it will send you a verification code. Okay, if you remember this one, it will send you a verification code to the registered mobile number. Now, obviously, the mobile will not be there with him. I mean, your mobile will not be there with the person one. Your mobile will be there with you only. Now, until or unless person one is entering the verification code, he cannot access, or he or she cannot access this email account. That is called as multi-factor authentication. You are enabling multi-factor authentication for your Gmail account. Similarly, for AWS also, you can enable this one, which is called as multi-factor authentication. Two ways of providing the security to your AWS account. Suppose let's say that we have an AWS account. All right. So in order to have an AWS account, you should have an email, which is called as a root email ID or root user ID. And for that, you will have a password also. Now, let's say that you are working for a company called IBM. Now, since you are working for a company, IBM will provide you the specific email ID and password. Now, let's say your friend is there who is working in Infosys. Just an example case. Let's say your friend is working in Infosys. Now, the person who is working in Infosys, he got to know your email ID and password credentials. Now, at that time, whatever the data that is stored with respect to the IBM, all that data might get leaked to the person who is working in Infosys. There is a chance. Okay. Again, this is a worst case scenario, but let us consider the worst case scenario only. There is a chance of getting the data getting leaked. The most important data that is getting leaked to your kind of other companies. Now, how you want to ensure safety to your account? So in order to ensure additional safety to your account, you have to enable a concept which is called as multi-factor authentication. Now, when you enable multi-factor authentication, even if the person is having the email ID and password of your own account, he has to enter a code which is called as multi-factor authentication code. I'll show you how to enable that. But I cannot technically show you I cannot practically show you that one, because you need to have, it can be shown only through only through your mobile app, because suppose let's say you want to enable the multi-factor authentication. Now, in order to enable the multi-factor authentication, what you have to do is in your mobile, okay, in your mobile, go to Play Store, and there is an app called Google Authenticator. Google Authenticator, or sometimes you will find it as Authenticator itself. So once cross-check, I guess it is available in the form of Authenticator only. But anyways, let's check that whether it is available in the form of Authenticator or Google Authenticator. Okay, fine. So it is Authenticator. Fine. So this is how you have to install this app, Google Authenticator. Now, as soon as you install this app and as soon as you are logging into your AWS account, what does Google Authenticator does is it will send you two passwords. Okay, it will send you two passwords. Now, since you have enabled the multi-factor authentication to your email, to your AWS account, you have to enter both the passwords, not just one password. If you are not entering two passwords, again, you cannot log into your AWS account. Make sure of that. Okay. Now I'll show you how to enable this multi-factor authentication practically. Now, in order to enable the multi-factor authentication, go to the username. Okay, this drop down at the top right side, and then click on security credentials. Click on security credentials. Now here you will be finding an option called activate MFA, which is multi-factor authentication. I'll just show you that. Yeah. So here you can see multi-factor authentication. Okay. So just click this one and you can see an option called activate MFA. Now you can see the few details regarding that. Use MFA to increase security of your AWS environments. Environments is nothing but account. Signing into MFA protected accounts requires a username. Remember this one. It requires a username, password, and an authentication code from an MFA device. MFA device is nothing but your app which you are installing, which is called as Google Authenticator app. Now, if you click activate MFA, okay, if you click activate MFA, it will ask you for virtual MFA device, security key, or other hardware MFA device. You select this one, virtual MFA device. That means you can see Authenticator app installed on your mobile device or computer. So in computer, I have not installed. So in mobile, it is there, but you can work with this one. Okay, you select this one and then click continue, right? So it will ask you to like the QR code, and then you have to select this QR code. So if you scan this one, it will ask you to enable the assign MFA. Once you click assign MFA, then automatically you will be able to see the multi-factor authentication codes. I mean, two codes I was telling you, right? So two codes will come to your Authenticator app, and those two codes you have to enter whenever you are logging into your AWS account. Okay. Remember, those two codes are not permanent. They will be keep on changing. Okay. They will be keep on changing. So they are not static codes. They are basically dynamic codes. So you have to, that's how you can enable the multi-factor authentication to your AWS account. But as of now, it's not required since you are using free services. I don't think you'll be giving your AWS account to any of your friends or any of your the relatives or whoever it is. So it's better if you have it's better to know how to keep your account in a secure zone. So the first way of keeping your account in a secure zone is by activating MFA. There are other options also. We'll see all those options over a period of time. But as of now, since it's a beginner case, you just work with MFA. So that is all about today's class. If you have any doubts with respect to the today's class, you can unmute yourself and you can ask.